Hi, I'm Ned Fulmer. 3 years ago, I cheated on my wife.
I'm the one that always talks about his wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife. My wife.
Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys.
There's a lot of anger on this couch.
The fact that it was something that was caught by fans, that was, a transgression that was enacted publicly.
Ex-Try Guy Ned Fulmer, the wife guy Try Guy.
My wife. My wife. My wife. My wife.
We knew that at any moment this could and would come out.
Ned, are there any secrets that you're hiding from us?
Don't think so.
That's a lie.
And I did want to tell you. And there was probably a small part of me that was sort of relieved to not be keeping a secret, I guess.
We were acutely aware of just how contrary this was to the values of the company we've built and those of everyone who works here.
Oh, feels weird.
People ask me, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no, absolutely not.
Well, here we are.
When a sacred, loving partnership is shattered by cheating, it can be one of the most life-altering and heartbreaking experiences a person can face. The moment you discover that the trust, time, and commitment you poured into building a life with someone has been swept away, your entire world flips upside down. And honestly, maybe the only thing tougher than the betrayal itself is when the whole world gets a front row seat to it. For public figures who present their relationships as bright and cheery, blissful moments that are met with adoration and sometimes profit, there's often a polished facade that rarely shows its cracks, but when it does, when someone in the relationship betrays the facade, the entire empire comes crashing down. For Ned Fulmer, former Try Guy, wife guy, and newly dubbed vocal fry guy, his cheating scandal, the one where he had an affair betraying his wife and children out in public with his employee that rippled through every corner of the internet and culminated with that SNL skit, that Ned Fulmer scandal. Well, for essentially 3 years, Ned and his now ex-partner Ariel left the internet buzzing with questions that lingered in silence for years. And now we're finally getting a glimpse into just how difficult it's been behind the scenes for Ariel, who in a brave move chose to share her story on a brand new podcast hosted by her ex, the man who once used their relationship for profit, cheated on her, and is possibly using her for profit again by selling a product in perhaps the most trolled and hated return to the internet ever. Literally, Ned Fulmer would call this rock bottom, but the court of public opinion has other thoughts. Buckle up, this is about to get very weird. And this is what we know. Oh, hi there. Hello, hi. It's my face again, Swoop! If you're seeing me for the first time, welcome. My name is Swoop, and I'm a documentary filmmaker, commentary creator, and blah, 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 blah. Look, people, you don't give a shit my intro, okay? We all know why we're here.
Today we are doing the Try Not to Laugh Challenge.
We are here to drag Ned Fulmer for filth with the pettiness of 1,000 suns, respectfully. And we're also here to be an Ariel fan page.
Okay, so let's talk about your wife.
I would love nothing more. Wow, here we go.
So y'all just pretend I did my usual intro and consider subscribing. Actually, when I look at the back end analytics of my channel, I see that 46% of you who watch or listen regularly haven't yet subscribed. And so many of you don't even know that you haven't subscribed. Like I see y'all say it in the comments all the time, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I wasn't subscribed. Subscribing is free, and it's the easiest way to support the work I do and help us, keep the lights on around here and be part of our journey to 1 million critical thinkers. That sounds fun, right?
It's 9 a.m. and we are gonna get drunk.
Today. I also have a second channel called Swoop 2 where we do skinny dips, and you can also join us in our very sassy Patreon community where you can get exclusive access to 4 more videos per month and the entire back catalog. Lots of fun over there. Okay, so one more thing, and then Ned, okay, limber up, Mr. Vocal Fry, wife guy, you're up next. Can we have a moment? I just need a quick moment, okay? Some real talk about something. So as many of you know, I have been dealing with a spinal and shoulder injury as well as chronic illness, and 10 out of 10 don't recommend. And can I just say that finding not just a doctor, but the right doctor has always been such a frustrating task. I literally feel like I have seen 100 of them just this last couple of years, and all of the researching, reading reviews, finding contact information, calling, waiting forever on hold, and scheduling has always always been so mentally exhausting. You know what I mean? That's until I discovered there's a way to skip all the nonsense with ZocDoc for me. So a huge thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video. They've been a tremendous supporter of our community, and I love, love, love them. So here's the tea. ZocDoc is a completely free website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors, choose the one that's perfect for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across nearly every specialty you can think of, whether it's mental health, dental health, eye care, skin care, and so much more. This has been the fastest, most stress-free experience for me when it comes to finding and booking a doctor. And the thing that I love about ZocDoc is that you can actually see verified patient reviews, detailed doctor profiles, and know if they're right for you before setting foot in an office. And you can even see the doctor's actual appointment openings. Choose the time that works for you, click, and boom, appointment booked instantly. Seriously, why has it not always been like this? You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located near you, who are a good fit for whatever medical need you have. And the best part, I mean, you know, besides it being completely free, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score some same-day appointments. What? Yes, it is all right there. No phone calls, no telling the receptionist why you need to see a doctor in the first place. Just click and boom, appointment booked, introvert approved, and it's completely free. Honestly, finding a doctor doesn't have to be overwhelming. ZocDoc makes it so much easier. It makes me wonder why I didn't use it sooner. So seriously, stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Be kind to yourself this year. Your health matters, and this free tool is here to help. Tap my link below or go to ZocDoc.com/swoop to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today, because your health matters, and treat yourself, honey. You deserve it. Okay, back to the doc.
My wife. 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 Oh, feels weird.
Hi, I'm Ned Fulmer. 3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer.
After years of silence and healing, Ariel Fulmer has returned to the internet to tell her story and face her demons in an incredibly brave sit-down podcast with the demon in question, allegedly, not allegedly, because we know he it. The man who turned her world and family upside down, Ned Flanders. I mean Fulmer.
Hello, neighborino to the north.
Cohen doodly
oodly. Diddly oodly.
Doodly
oodly.
Noodly doodly doodly dot.
Excuse me, I'm feeling very petty today, okay? Listen, it has been a long, it's been a long year, really. So Ned just popped up. He decided to do like little whack-a-mole things, and he pops his head up.
Team marriage over here.
We're marrying scales.
We love our wives no matter what.
No.
Now, in case you haven't the slightest clue of what I am talking about, let me get you caught up to speed in a quick little speed run. Around just about 3 years ago, one of the biggest influencer scandals of all time broke the internet when the chronically online wholesome squad known as the Try Guys was basically blown apart after their self-proclaimed wife guy, Ned Fulmer, was caught publicly cheating on his wife, Ariel, with one of his employees.
I just made dinner plans with my wife.
Could you eat one more piece?
For you, Alexandria. Of course not.
What started as fan speculation after the two were spotted together at a Harry Styles concert, you know, kind of Coldplay, CEO Jumbotron style.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on.
Quickly snowballed into one of the internet's most shocking, blatant public cheating scandals when photos surfaced of them kissing in a New York City club. I unpacked all of the details of this story as it was unfolding in my 2-part Try Guys Nightmare series, which I'll have linked below. And in there I did as we do. I was layering in critical analysis and perspective as we tracked the affair from its earliest whispers to its national spotlight to literally on Saturday Night Live.
I will still be trying super weird Cambodian food. Zach will still be trying super weird Malaysian food. And Keith is still going to try wearing a thong for a week because it's our duty.
In that Swoop doc, I argued it would be nearly impossible, nearly, never is, but nearly impossible for Ned to stage a comeback online since much of his public career was betrayed by his infidelity and lies. First and foremost, he betrayed Ariel and their kids, then his colleagues, his friends, and finally, his fans, the millions of devoted supporters who believed in him and this wife guy persona.
My wife, 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 my wife.
Well, after 3 years of trying silence, Try Guy, Ned Guy, Vocal Fry Guy is back, processing his emotions the only way grown men on the internet seem to know how to do, by starting a podcast. Yeah.
Yes! Accomplish my new goals.
So Ned's comeback is certainly an example of this playing out in real time. His new podcast, Rock Bottom with Ned Fulmer, complete with branding, a catchy tagline, and cutesy doodles all over his face because he's so quirky and relatable, debuts with none other than his betrayed partner Ariel as the first guest, and shocking, the internet hates it.
My theme is love. It's also glamorous, because like, I'm a dad, but I also like to party.
Listen, we might as well roll the intro. We're doing it a little different today. In what I can only describe as a desperate attempt to control the narrative before Ariel even has a chance to speak in the podcast, Ned filmed this intro to the podcast after they filmed his episode with Ariel, where he, can like pick it up and clean up the scraps of things that he didn't touch upon like directly to her face, that kind of planned thing. And this is the first time he addresses the audience for the first time in 3 years. So let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Ned Fulmer.
Y'all, I'm gonna try guy to get through the wife guy. Literally, I think the vocal fry.
Hi, I'm Ned Fulmer.
Like the vocal fry entered the room before he even entered the chat. And I just gotta start right off the bat. He has literally checked every single influencer apology box. We've got the white shirt here. We've got predominantly white in the background. Hottest exposure going on. Like he could not look more almost ghostly. Look at, there's literally a chalkboard. I think there's a chalkboard in the back. There's nothing on it. It's literally giving clean slate. Someone was like, let's clean that slate. You see that slate? Let's clean it. And he just looks like a wounded puppy. This is all pre-planned. It's all orchestrated together for a very specific purpose to sell a product. The product is this new podcast. Let's always remember that.
3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer.
Y'all, sorry, I'm gonna let longer clips play, but of course I have to give my commentary as well for me to even be able to do this. When he comes out the gate saying I cheated with my producer, I do not like the way that that was phrased whatsoever. Now, technically, was her job description producer of the show? Yes, but she's also an employee and she is his employee. He quite literally owns, operates, runs, is one of the faces of the Try Guys. He is the position of authority here. The producer is a hired employee and Ned is the one at the end of the day who's kind of like the face that is also signing the checks. Him framing it producer versus my employee makes her sound like she had equal power to him and she did not.
It became a massive public scandal that caused a lot of pain to a lot of people. I know that I represented myself as a kind of wife guy.
Kind of represented myself as a wife guy is maybe the understatement of the content creation century.
My wife, 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 my wife.
That was his brand.
And you, as a viewer, I know that I broke your trust. I betrayed my spouse, coworkers, friends, family, and I betrayed you.
It's interesting that he says I betrayed my spouse. And when we know the information that came out that they are separated, that they're not in a relationship, and then we'll hear some more information later on. Also, it's important to note, I believe this was filmed after he did the interview with Ariel.
And I know it's not just about cheating, that I was a company owner and having a relationship with a producer.
He does it, so he acknowledges company owner. I was a company owner, and then he says a producer. Yes, it's technically right, but it still conveys this idea that that producer had a high level of power when she's actually getting her paychecks from the guy who is sleeping with her.
It was understandably a messy and devastating situation for everyone involved. I was the cause of it.
Finally, for the first time, this is him publicly taking responsibility 3 years later. Now, is there a time clock when someone can and should and would take responsibility on these things? No. The reality is, I know that people on the internet want to like demand, you must give a response now. You must do it immediately. Right after, the thing happens, you must say something immediately now. That's just not the way that real life works. And oftentimes I think that people can rush to make a statement or something to feed the demand from the general public too soon. It can cause even more pain to people if they rush a statement.
And I can't change it. I can't change the past. I can own it and accept it and try to change how I show up differently in the future.
Oh my gosh. The gulp. Y'all, I think we've officially entered Gulpgate. Listen, I know that this is getting a little petty. Who cares about a gulp? But I just gotta say, listen, they are literally stripping away our rights, our freedom of speech. So I'm gonna strip away the freedom to gulp. When the husband cheats, we're gonna have some collective petty, okay? We are all in this economy, are you kidding me?
I wanted to say that I'm sorry.
So I think it's good that he apologized to the viewers, but I would like to see the apology to Ariel.
One step is to publicly witness the pain of my partner, Ariel.
I hate everything about that phrase. I don't know, are there therapists watching this? If there are mental health professionals or therapists in the chat, please chime in the chat. Am I out of line here to be very uncomfortable by him saying part of his apology is to witness Ariel's pain? Yes, you have to acknowledge the pain, but he is putting her pain on display. Now, she's agreed to it. I don't love I'm turning this into a product though. He is making content for a product to sell to the public. And I hope Ariel is getting all of that money. I think that he should give her all of the ad revenue.
This is a conversation with Ariel in this video. It's painful at times. It's honest, vulnerable, brutal, but it's necessary for her to move forward, and I'm grateful for the chance to witness it.
That is wild to me. Whatever Ariel wants to do, Ariel can do. It's almost like he caused her all of this pain, blew up her entire world, and now he gets to slide in and save her world for her. I don't like that. Separate it for a second. You know how criminals, some of them will go back to the scene of the crime to kind of relive it and to relive the trauma that they caused on somebody else?
As disappointed as we were that something so private and painful became such a public spectacle.
He made it public. I just need to reiterate that, okay? He took his affair out in the public. He didn't keep it to some seedy motel on the corner of 8th and fuck off, you wife guy. He didn't do that. He took it to the public.
I get why people were so outraged, and I understand that that is the reason that she can't move forward with any sort of public thing without addressing this.
I don't think that that's true, but we're gonna hear from her.
I know that from my perspective, I want to tell stories of curiosity and empathy.
Remember those words. I want to tell stories of curiosity and empathy. And look at the banner image that he's got on the channel. Curiosity and empathy are branding talking points, okay? He is selling a product. Those are the talking points.
So please join me for this conversation with Ariel Fulmer.
So after Ned finished weaving through his justifications for why this comeback makes sense, he finally rolled the podcast interview with Ariel.
People ask me, like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no.
And while yes, I reserve the right to change my mind at any point in time, at this moment, I'm just kind of feeling like using his wife to sensationalize the trauma he caused her feels like truly a new rock bottom for toxic, mediocre man influencer culture. Honestly, this comment said it best. Quote, 2014 to 2022, Ned has no personality, so he uses his wife to gain clout. 2025, Ned has no personality, so he uses his ex-wife to gain clout, all to promote a product. And that just gives me ew. But you know, he's allowed to do this. She's allowed to appear on it if she wants to. And there can be good things that we can learn from these types of open conversations happening.
And I'm easily roastable. I'm like chestnuts. Just roast me up, daddy.
Perspective. I'm all about perspective, playing devil's advocate, so I'm gonna try to do that throughout this. But also, ew. He started this out with a YouTube short, of all things, published on September 16th, highlighting the trauma.
And you looked over at me with this look on your face, and it was like the veil just fell. Just wildly guilty look on your face. Like you wanted to tell me something.
And this new podcast being framed as, like rock bottom, complete with like silly pop art branding well in advance, just makes this entire situation he caused seem kind of so unserious at this point. Like the term that he's like using, like surviving rock bottom, is usually reserved for people who have fallen, victim to situations outside of their control. I feel like, the word surviving is generating the idea that he's a victim, and typically I hear surviving rock bottom in reference, to people struggling with the disease of addiction or substance abuse or experiencing homelessness, not a multi-millionaire who proudly and publicly cheated on his wife at a Harry Styles concert. Ned pushed a flurry of PR pieces out through outlets like People Magazine and TMZ to accomplish a few things at once. To first announce the show, announce their separation, and try to repair Ned's image, all in just a matter of a day or two, which I don't necessarily think the repair on his image is happening anytime soon. Now, just before the episode released, TMZ wrote, quote, "Sources close to the former couple tells us they are no longer together romantically. We're told they will have an open discussion about where they stand in their relationship on his newly announced podcast, Rock Bottom, on Wednesday." Way to get the talking points in. And then there was, People Magazine kind of making me throw up a little bit in my mouth with, quote, "Ned cares deeply for Ariel and they are working on something new," making it sound like the two of them were working on this podcast together, like the whole show. I don't know, maybe somehow she's a producer and getting the money. Good on her if she is. But a spokesperson for Fulmer told People on Tuesday, September 16th, they even traveled to Greece this summer together with their 2 children. The spokesperson exclusively tells People. So this is basically, they were cushioning the podcast before it came out. They wanted, or Ned wanted, somebody wanted the public, the people, via People, to feel like, oh, Ned and Ariel are great friends. They get along. She's not upset. There's no pain. It's a very PR strategy move, up, down, sideways, left, and right. People Magazine even published an exclusive interview with Ned to promote his new podcast, where he says a few things that stood out to me as, sus. First of all, he says, quote, "I started to want to create and miss making things. I mean, I'm the type of person that be in a community theater show getting paid nothing. I just love it. So why don't you do that then?" Men and their podcasts, they love it. They're gonna keep doing it. Or, as this comment put it plainly, quote, "Monetizing your cheating scandal is crazy work. I wish the best for Ariel and their kids, but woof, this is cringe face emoji." Let's dive deeper into parts of this podcast with support in our hearts, always for Ariel, and probably a deep side eye of skepticism for Ned, but openness for second chances. She's willing to give him one in her own way. We can obviously do the same.
Well, here we are.
Back again.
There is the worst humming sound going on in this, like this ooh sound. It is awful. It is so bad. I'm gonna EQ it so that you don't have to listen to that, but it is terrible.
Is it strange to think that people are watching this and listening to it rather than just being in like a therapy setting?
Oh, heck yeah. It's terrifying.
I can't imagine being in her position, right? She was victimized by his infidelity and him doing it publicly and him turning it into this public spectacle and him doing the wife guy thing and all over the place, just wifing all over your face constantly. He is purely, completely, utterly, and totally at fault for all of this now. And she just looks very uncomfortable, but this is also very brave of her if she feels like that she needed to do this. The issue that I have with Ned, not of Ariel, is I would have liked to have seen this with an actual therapist there. A third party present to be asking Ariel the questions versus him, the guy who betrayed her, being the one asking her these questions. Because that in itself feels like there's a power dynamic still at play there.
I'm on the verge of like standing up and walking out of this room. Absolutely.
Same.
Being like, same. Like, sorry. Y'all, I am in a mood. You know exactly what that means. Petty swoop is gonna come out. Serious swoop is gonna come out. Reflective swoop's gonna come out. Perspective swoop's gonna come out. Devil's advocate swoop's gonna come out. Every iteration that you have ever known me, every iteration of me is probably gonna show up today. Strap on, buckle your seatbelts, kids.
I feel like this is a necessary thing.
Yeah, we've kind of been just keeping our lives very private for the last 3 years.
We
and
have.
Just almost hiding from the world.
We have been hiding. We've been hiding from the world.
It makes me feel sad that Ariel has been, and maybe I'm just kind of speculating. She's been in this position where she feels like she has to do anything, including she has to do this, have a public conversation in order to move on. Again, she could do what she wants, whatever she needs. Maybe she feels like she needs to do this for him. Maybe she wants to help him. I don't know. She also couldn't do that. He is the father of her children.
And it's ironic because we don't stop becoming recognizable figures. How can I move forward in my life without people knowing the next part of my story if they're still stuck on the 2022 part of my story?
Now, Ned, I think that is way more true. Ned, he had an affair. It wasn't even just like a one-night stand cheating thing. That's a whole topic. He had a whole ass affair with an employee. And he did it publicly. And so for him, if he wants to come back to the public eye and make content and have people support him, he's gonna have to deal with this moment.
We have moved on with our lives.
Yeah, we've moved on for a while
We
now.
have moved on with our lives.
I love to hear that from Ariel. Moving on doesn't mean you've forgiven, you've forgotten, and all is well. That's not what moving on is, and I don't think that that's what she's implying here. She's now operating differently.
And the reason that we can't walk out of this room, because we live in a social world, right? And we can't move on with our lives if we don't, move on publicly.
I'm sad that she feels that way, and she is valid in feeling that way. I just hope that she doesn't feel forced to have done this if she, at the end of the day, just didn't want to.
I mean,
it's a really strange thing, actually. Like, that we can't do anything publicly without kind of addressing this first.
One thing that's wild about this whole rebrand is that this YouTube channel that Ned launched the podcast on already had about 64,000 subscribers before the first episode even dropped. Like, how the is that possible? Well, it's not. And if you didn't know this little thing that Ned did, you might be looking at the channel and be like, wow, a lot of people subscribed to him over this one video. People must love. No. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. So this channel actually existed long before Rock Bottom. This channel actually used to be Ned and Ariel's parenting podcast, Baby Steps, where over 78 episodes, they would, quote, reveal the dirty, messy secrets behind raising a blissfully Instagram-ready family.
We have a new podcast.
Woo! It's called Baby Steps.
So I actually looked up the channel Social Blade because I am a thorough bitch, and Ned quite literally waited until the very last moment and reviewed 5,068,000 views worth of old videos, literally the same day or within the same 24 hours of this podcast episode dropping. This is diabolically calculated. And what makes this so unhinged to me, and way to go, brilliant marketing, is that he targeted the very audience that he also betrayed. The subscribers there were people who were there for the parenting advice of this happy relationship. These people tuned in once upon a time to hear their parenting advice for sake, instead of just doing the bare minimum of starting a brand new channel, a clean effing slate like he had set up in his kitchen in the intro. No, he had to use the old channel that he built with Ariel and use their 64,000 old subscribers, not new ones, old ones, whose trust he also in some way likely betrayed to sell his shiny new product. That is so freaking weird, but so very Ned. Okay, way to go, mediocre guy.
You guys feeling it yet?
Let's get back to the podcast.
In 2022, it got so big, right? The whole scandal, it grew. It just became this thing that just like got so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
It did become, look at him, he is terrified. His gasps are flabbered, okay? And literally, like, what do you mean Saturday Night Live got involved, okay? Let's not underscore the impact that the Try Guys have had in content, period, right? They come from BuzzFeed. They're these like kind of regular looking guys, except for Eugene, because Eugene is fabulous and just incredible. No one parallels or matches Eugene, okay? And before it was like, celebrity and public figures were these like, chiseled chads of the world. Ned is like the representation of just mediocre white guy achieving for no reason other than just being mediocre. I say that with respect, but I still think that Ned needed this to happen, this podcast, so he could sell his product. Try Guy, vocal fry guy, launching a new product, which is the podcast.
I feel like I just sort of hid away from it,
Same.
There he is again. Same. Dude, you caused this problem with Ariel. You blew up her world and she hid, and you're like, same.
Going completely dark was the only thing that I could think to do. And for the last 3 years, I've just hidden behind the scandal,
I feel like here's a euphemism for infidelity. Speculating from the outside, with Ariel's relationship, that type of infidelity where you do not see it coming at all is kind of like if you are sitting on your couch, you're watching your favorite show, and then a literal bus crashes through the window and slams into your couch and knocks you off the couch. Your little slippers fly off, your snacks go everywhere, and your entire world is just blown the up by this bus you didn't see coming. That's what I think this type of infidelity can feel like.
Now I can't get out from behind it.
Yeah, because it's a big step to like sit down and do what we're doing and to talk about it.
Right. With like my kids or just going out to dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing that people see is the scandal.
The idea that, she feels like she can't go anywhere with her kids. It's because of what I think often happens when someone is cheated on is there is this like really shame that you can feel as the victim of being cheated on. You almost feel this shame, and it's not right. It's not yours to carry. It is completely on, in this case, Ned's responsibility. But you can feel this kind of embarrassment.
I remember I have met some people, like made new friends or kind of introduced myself to strangers. It's like, oh, let's exchange Instagrams. I'm like, well,
right?
Here's mine, but a couple of caveats. One, I have a lot more followers than you might expect. Two,
I think he loves that.
All of this is pretty outdated. And three, don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
Don't Google me.
You
Just
probably don't want to Google me.
Get to know me first.
That's all. He is uncomfortable. Again, he is living in the consequences of his infidelity. That's the reality there. A major public figure, and he took his cheating public.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to be just sort of seen as the sum of your mistakes for me or the sum of your past for you.
And I get the sum of your past. Oh, I hate all of that because he is the reason. He is the cause of her past, and he obliterated that. He blew that to absolute shreds and bits. But to be fair, play the perspective coin. That's what we do here. Okay, we're gonna be fair. I do appreciate him talking about this. There are mistakes, whatever word you want to put it, an affair and a long-standing relationship that he was having with somebody else. It is a betrayal. I do think that people should be given second chances and third chances and fourth chances because all of us make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all do. If anyone is saying they never make mistakes, they are lying, and therefore that's their first mistake. And people can choose if they're going to trust them or not. But I think that on a human level, I don't want to just, see the world absolutely desecrate a person and not give them at least the opportunity to own up to that stuff and then move on in a healthier way.
We are still friends. We have children together. We go on trips together.
Right.
There's a spectrum of being together, not together.
Right.
I think that's a very valid thing to say. Some people choose to stay married. They work through it, and then they hopefully fall back in love if the love was broken. Some people, they never fall out of love. They're just like, this was a very painful thing. Let's work through it because I love you, because I, took vows and they mean this to me. And other people say, well, I took these vows and you broke them, and so I'm out, I'm leaving. And both scenarios are valid. And that was what I was trying to underscore in when we were covering the story, when it was breaking and, everyone was talking about it, was that we have to be careful for demanding that she leave him, because what if she doesn't want to? What if she never wants to leave him? What if she wants to stay? They have kids. And here's the other reality. What if they get back together? It could happen. I'll be in support of it if she's happy and she feels healed and it's the right thing for her. I will support it. I've been saying that since day one. As long as she feels safe, happy, healthy, and the kids are safe, happy, healthy, and Ned doesn't do this again, and he treats them with respect.
There's ways in which we're together, but it's like the way that everyone wants to know, like, are you guys still like an item? Are you guys still a couple? Like, no. We really haven't been at all this last 3 years.
No, we haven't.
Like, there's moments when we kind of tried, but just because you go to a Taylor Swift concert together doesn't mean that you're, that all is forgiven and you're...
I appreciate these moments in their conversations. Again, it's uncomfortable him doing the question asking, but I think these are very insightful conversations that help hopefully shine a little bit more of a spotlight on how relationship dynamics are very complicated. Feelings can be valid that don't make sense to outsiders, and how having a conversation, probably not on a podcast forum selling a product, but having a conversation, a healthy conversation, is always going to be better than not, in my opinion, I think. Also, can I just comment on this? I don't know if anyone has pointed this out anywhere, but I am trying to figure out why the f*** are they dressed identical? Was this planned? Was this coincidental? Did a publicist get involved and say, well, at the end of the day, Ned is, he's selling a product here with the podcast, and we would like you to show a united front. He's wearing this kind of slate white collared shirt. She's wearing the same kind of slate white collared shirt. They both got the sleeves at the same length. They both got these like a charcoaly gray or like navy slack. And then they have even the same type of shoes. This is wild to me how identical they are presented in this. Was that planned? And I'm so curious to know why. Ain't none of my business. Ain't none of my business, none of my business. So a little more about Ariel's decision to do this podcast. Recently in an interview with Rolling Stone, Ariel actually clarified that it was 100% her idea. She said, quote, "To be completely honest, Ned didn't even ask me to do it. It was the sort of situation where I knew that he wanted to go back online. But we were having a conversation and I went, well, what if I went on your podcast? And what if we talked about us?" Ned response, sorry, let me vocal fry it. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to break the internet. Couple of things. First thing, I find this level of strength from Ariel inspiring. Second thing, the whole grain caucasity of Ned is so freaking annoying. But my pettiness aside, listen, again, they have family. They're bonded for life. In a way, she chose to help support the father of her children get back online because that seems to be what he wants to do. And she extended him grace and kindness in a way that she did not have to do. I respect that she was like, you know what? I'm going to help you out here. Now, her going on also had to do with the narrative for her young kids to find when they grow up. She continued in the article saying, quote, "I didn't want them to Google their mom and have the scandal be the first thing that came up. I wanted there to be new work out there. I wanted to be able to say, you guys were there. This is what we did to move past it. We moved past it with integrity. We moved past it with trust. We moved past it together." Good for her.
People ask me, like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no.
Good for you.
Absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No. Fuck no.
Oh, we all felt Ariel's soul in that moment. We all wanted to collectively say, fuck no. We ain't even in this relationship, okay? Let's not get parasocial with it, okay? I'm just, we're outsiders. Feel like all of us who've ever been cheated on, right? I've been cheated on. Probably most of you, a lot of you, probably unfortunately been cheated on. We have all felt that moment of just fuck anger and being asked, do you forgive me or do you forgive them? No. Now, if you do forgive somebody, good for you. Everyone's different and forgiveness looks different for everybody. I think that's something that we always need to keep front and center.
I don't even, sorry, I saw red for a minute. It's like, no, the answer is no. But
listen, she just said, I saw red. There is pain. Seeing red is next level anger, frustration, and good for her for being able to express that. And she is giving so much to this conversation and he is giving so little.
But also I feel like forgiveness isn't the goal at this point. You know, we've been together for a long time. And you are the father of my 2 beautiful children. And we know each other really well.
Her saying forgiveness isn't the goal at this point is such a profound statement to make that I don't think that people think about. Forgiveness doesn't have to be the goal, and I think that there's an inherent pressure, particularly on women, when they've been cheated upon or betrayed or harmed in some way. I think that there is this presumption that women, you know, the quote unquote emotional beings, the feeling creatures that we are, allegedly. I feel like there is this pushed upon us that we have to be the ones to forgive, to forget, to nurture, to mend, and to move on, and to help the other person move on. Not only do we have to repair ourselves, we have to keep everything united within ourselves, and we have to nurture the man who did the betraying. The woman has to be strong, he has to be coddled.
It's hard to hear you saying like, fuck no, I don't forgive you. Like, of course I get it. I mean, you're still, as much progress as we've had, you're still very angry.
Like, yeah, of course I'm still angry. We lost a lot. I found out about your affair from the fans.
Wild. So sad. That's so sad. He didn't even have the balls to tell her, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, but I stepped out of our marriage.
And I was so blindsided.
By the way, he has not apologized to her. How far are we in on this? 20 minutes, 30 minutes? After she just said, no, I don't forgive you. After she says, I'm seeing red. And then she still throws him a bunch of these, she throws the puppy a few bones. He did not respond by saying, I'm so sorry. That's the thing when we circle back to the way he started this entire podcast episode. He's wearing that white shirt and he's got the white and the overexposed and he looking real white, everything's clean slate. They shoot that after the fact. They put that at the beginning to make the viewer feel like he is and has apologized to her on camera in the podcast. But the reality is, no. The reality is he has not apologized to her face on camera yet. But he wants you to think that he has, and that's why they shot that little package that they put at the beginning of it.
Somebody sent me a picture.
Awful.
And it was like my brain couldn't compute. And it's like for some reason I didn't see what was actually there in the picture.
That's so sad.
I thought it was your sister. And I remember sending it to you and being like, what's your sister doing in New York?
I think that's a testament to that is how blindsided she was by this affair. She was maybe put in such a state of shock or trauma that she literally, her brain would not even register what was going on.
And I think back on that and I think how did I not see what was going on? Like what was so fucked up in my brain that I couldn't actually see what was happening in this picture?
How sad is it that she thinks it was fucked up in her brain? Isn't that some bullshit that you get harmed and then you're left thinking that you're the one, that there's something up in your brain that you didn't see it coming. You believed in the goodness of the person who was harming you. And so then you carry this guilt and this shame and some in my head. I have had that conversation with myself my entire life. Since I can remember, my entire life, right? I've experienced abuse since I can form a memory in my life. And a lot of my childhood is just blocked, completely blocked. And my brain does not see most of my childhood because of the abuse that I survived. But I still, every single day, when I think about my life, I carry guilt and shame and feel like I'm up, that I didn't get through it faster, or I didn't fight back, or I didn't, whatever the thing is that I'm blaming myself for that day. All of the time I do this. And I bet a lot of you do too. And I just want to take a moment and say, you are not up. If someone harmed you, someone betrayed you, you are not up. It's not your fault. It really is not your fault. Just wanted to say that.
And then more pictures started coming in, and more pictures and more pictures and more pictures. And it is so wild how we live in this world where everything is so public.
And these pictures that are coming out and she's seeing these pictures, he still doesn't tell her. Now that he's caught, the public's caught, they're talking about it. He doesn't come to her or call her, text her, or send a carrier pigeon to say, Ariel, I'm so sorry. I f***ed up and I cheated on you. He doesn't do that.
And then after everything happened, I sort of went into this this weird state where nothing was safe.
That's so sad. This is all the ripple effect of what he has done. So Ariel is pouring her heart out, and Ned is just, he's just netting all over the screen in the most unremarkable way. So I think these comments under the podcast really sum up his participation. Quote, this should be called Ariel talking to a wall who gives no reaction for 1 hour. And more seriously, as I discussed earlier, this quote, notice how he removes all of his agency with his language. He refers to it as the scandal instead of my affair and what happened instead of what I did. Now, not only does this language remove himself from the accountability of what happened in many ways, but it also reveals that he sometimes frames himself as a victim of the fallout that he caused, right? So let's keep watching.
Nothing and nobody, I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't trust the public. I couldn't trust you. I couldn't trust my friends. I just stayed inside, because of the cameras everywhere. It was so unsafe. Everything was unsafe.
How did having it become such a public scandal kind of change everything for you?
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it here. I hate it there. I hate it everywhere. Okay? How did it? What do you mean? What's it? What is it, Ned? You having an affair. Okay, it's not an elephant in the room anymore. We're all very well aware. I do wish there was a third party there who was asking the questions. How did it make you feel about the harm that I caused? Or it? I hate it.
Did it make it worse? Did it make it
Yes, Ned, it made it worse.
easier? Did it just sort of make it surreal?
She quite literally just said, as she was literally holding herself like a child, how hard this was. This guy's gonna interview people who have hit rock bottom?
It's like the trauma of discovering that everything that you know isn't real. And then add to it this other part where you're sort of being watched by cameras, which isn't something that's a part of our lives. Yes, we are somewhat public figures, but we've never had cameras waiting outside of our house.
That is very extreme, and I think that's extreme for both of them, and I think it's unnecessary. You could talk about the story. It's happening publicly. He brought it to the public. People are gonna talk about it. His entire career is based off of the public. His money, his income, his earnings. So then the public is going to take an interest, and naturally so, and they have the right to do that. But following them, what are we doing? Why?
We decided to find a new couples therapist. And so we get in the car and we were driving there. I turned to you and I was like, Ned, I think there's a car following us. I'm pretty sure this car has followed us from our house.
That's actually scary.
And then when we park outside of the couples therapist's office and we see that this car has a camera, probably one of the strangest situations that I personally have ever been in.
If you ever see a public figure or a celebrity, do not follow them. You see them walking around and you're walking, don't follow them, please, for the love of God. There are so many safety concerns that I can't even begin to articulate to you. I am like a tiny little blip on the internet, and I have safety concerns. I keep everything about me private because of that. The privacy concerns are one thing, safety is a whole other beast, and that shit is very fucking scary. I get concerned all of the time for my safety, my friends' safety, my family's safety, so because people can get real crazy real fast, do all kinds of things, and I have been down that road and it is terrifying. I come from this life, this world where I was sexually abused by a much older man when I was a child. And then I was handed over from him to a friend of his who was also a significantly older, who was an adult. I was still an underage child. And I walk around every day worried. I want to still be able to have a life and a career that I dream about, right? I still have aspirations. I don't want those to all go away because of this fucking monster. That's scary. This is my little Swoop public service announcement. Most of my friends who are public figures don't share literally anything because we have seen people literally have their lives ended.
I remember our neighbors during that time were doing some roof repair work. And so there was this like unmarked white van outside of our house, and it was parked there for like weeks. And we had it in our heads that it was a paparazzi van. I can see how that caused you to really feel unsafe and mistrusting of the whole world.
I just want to keep reiterating that. He still hasn't apologized. He still hasn't said I'm sorry to her on camera.
Just want to acknowledge that and just note that it's like because of things I did.
No, well, because of things he did. What things did you do? What things did you do, Ned?
Caused you to experience that.
Yeah.
What was that moment like when everything changed for you?
Awful, obviously.
Can you imagine the man who cheats on you sits across from you on camera and says, "What was that experience like? How did that make you feel?" Can you imagine? In this economy? Are you kidding me? No. 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 No.
I wasn't thinking I wasn't thinking for myself. I was thinking like, what do I do next?
Now, as we've seen historically, paparazzi harassment often makes bad situations worse. The demand for stalker-level professional photographers may have, died down a little bit now that we all have cameras in our pockets, but then there are people that then feel like they can be stalkers and harassers like that. But, just look at examples from the last 10 to 20 years ago, whether it was, Britney Spears' paparazzi-fueled harassment or Justin Bieber's current standing on business era.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
There's no instance where being aggressively hunted by, mostly sleazy men with cameras, or, the keyboard warriors who obsessively stalk and watch every single thing of a creator and harass them all of the time. That's never helped anyone's mental health, not even the people who are doing it. And I think it would have been nice had Ned issued maybe a statement at the time asking the paparazzi to at least leave Ariel alone. That would have been something in good faith. Anyways, okay, let's get back to the podcast. We're about to hear the story of how Ariel initially confronted Ned about cheating, and it is a tough watch.
I remember we were in New York, and you were just picking me up from the airport. So you were driving a rental, and I just naively looked over to you in the driver's seat, and I was like, why was Grace in New York? I didn't realize Grace was in New York. Why was she, referring to that picture that I had sent to you, over at me, with this look on your face. And it was like the veil just fell.
So she literally sent him the photo. She's discovering this in real time with the public. These pictures are coming out. She sees a photo. It doesn't compute to her brain. She's in shock. She sends it to him, and he still hasn't said anything.
And then when I saw that just wildly guilty look on your face, you wanted to tell me something, and I didn't even let you say anything. I was like, turn this car around.
Good for you. Turn this car around. Ooh, my mama said like that. Woo. I'd be misbehaving in the back seat and she'd be like, I am gonna turn this car around. Ooh, I don't have many child memories, but I have that one. Woo. So she asks Ned, does he remember it like that? And here's his response.
No, I don't remember it happening like that, but it doesn't matter.
How do you remember it happening?
She's just like, what do you mean? Okay, well, that's how it happened. How do you remember it happening? This woman, she's been giving energy, giving emotion, giving words, giving feelings and thoughts. And he is like he is when you go to look at a new apartment and there's ain't no furniture in the room. It's just an empty ass apartment and the just white ass wall. He is an empty apartment, no furniture in there, and a white ass wall. How did you see it?
Asked me a couple of different follow-up questions as I just sort of answered them.
Well, I remember you asked some follow-up questions and then I answered them. And then you give nothing. She has bared her heart and soul in this podcast that is your product. Give her the money. Put it in the chat. # give her the money.
Once I, answered it in such a way that you knew exactly who it was and what had happened, then you were like, take me back to the airport.
once I answered it in such a way, and you know what happened. What? Way to give us nothing, Ned. Sorry, I should do it with more vocal fry. There we go. You asked me a question, and then I gave an answer, and I answered in such a way, and then we turned the car around.
I think there was a lot of sort of delusions and rationalizations that you, as the person doing that, sort of are telling yourself why it's not so bad or why it's gonna be okay. Or
The it is the infidelity. But he won't acknowledge it. He won't say it out loud.
And it's like, I remember that moment, it all just kind of like fell down where I totally could see how devastated and traumatized you were. And then it was just like, oh, everything changed for me as well. Like,
you had to see her face to see what you were doing was going to be devastating?
I've been hurting this person that I love this whole time.
You didn't realize until then?
Well, you know, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of...
Good for her for asking, like, really? You didn't realize it until then? You know what I do? I just a little bit about it, and then I had to solve it, and I was looking at this thing, and it was like delusion, and I was like, I don't know this today.
Well, you know, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of compartmentalize, or I guess.
Interesting.
Interesting.
It's sort of a...
Let him sit. Let him stew. Let him get cooked in this soup of his own making.
Like a addictive cycle, kind of. You know, kind of just lying to yourself, and then...
I love that she's just sitting there in silence. I love that. There is a power in that.
And I did want to tell you, and there was probably a small part of me that was sort of relieved to not be keeping a secret, I guess.
A small part of me was relieved because the burden, it was on him. He didn't want that burden anymore. He wanted, a small part of him wanted her to now have to carry that burden for him, to lighten his load. I want to have a quick sidebar for a moment. This is something that we typically do on this channel when I do like a full swoop, traditional swoop doc, to set the story aside and kind of look at the broader context and how some themes might apply to our own lives. Now I'm going to do it condensed because this video is obviously a little different, but I'd like to talk about the nuances and potential risks of pressuring or demanding someone leave their relationship when they're not ready to. Throughout my previous coverage of this story, I continually stressed the dangers of pressuring someone to leave. We're at the end of the day, we're all just outsiders, and relationships are complex, especially with children involved, and everyone deserves autonomy with their own decisions. But now, unfortunately, Ariel did feel immense pressure from some of the public to leave Ned for better or worse. And as a 2022 op-ed in the College Voice covering the cheating scandal points out, quote, already Ariel's Instagram comments have been flooded with people urging her to leave Ned without taking into consideration that she has children and a house with him, not to mention a will of her own. There has to be a middle ground of interacting with celebrities who have a positive impact on our lives without infringing on theirs. And I agree with that. Now, I would assume that, you know, most people are well-intentioned if they leave comments like that, you know, they just want to see someone like Ariel get free from a man who deeply betrayed her because they support her. And I get it. It's coming from a good place. I really believe that. So let's zoom out from this story for a quick moment, and then we'll get back to the podcast. We're going to set this aside for a second and dig into an important sidebar. What if a relationship is abusive? Now, some people will call cheating abusive, but what if there's DV or, you know, power abuse, coercion, those types of abuses happening? Now, we might think, hey, you know, there's an obvious solution. Just walk out, just leave. But that actually isn't as safe or as simple as one might think. According to a study published in Divorce Magazine, quote, 60 to 75% of couples who experience infidelity remain together. However, not all those couples remained because of love. Some remained out of fear of being alone, lack of anywhere else to go, financial issues, and so on. I would even put in things like disability and whatnot. And the infidelity problem is huge in American couples. Technopedia reports that, quote, in a league table of what countries cheat the most, the US comes in first place with a staggering 71% of people surveyed surveyed admitting to cheating. Germany and the UK come in close behind with 68% and 66% respectively. So hey, you know, we may not be the first in education, healthcare, or life expectancy, but at least we're number one in cheaters. And those of you who have a partner, you know, like with a work spouse, you know, like the work wife, the work husband, all that kind of stuff, I'm sorry to report that the same study found that, quote, 31% of affairs happen with coworkers. Not trying to freak you out, we're just talking some numbers here. Every day we see couples who we believe from the outside appear toxic or beyond that, physically harmful. And while it's true that no one should feel trapped or remain in a dangerous relationship if they can safely get out, it can sometimes be more damaging when outsiders pressure a victim to take action without considering the complex reality of their circumstances. But according to the BWSS, some of the reasons a person might not leave an abusive partner are things like isolation from friends and family, fearing for their children's safety or that their partner might get custody if they leave, fear of stalking, retaliation, or physical harm, economic necessity where the abusive partner might control the finances, lack of resources like transportation or housing, threats of self-harm from their partner as a way to manipulate them, a disability or language barriers that make leaving more difficult, or even hope that their partner will one day change, and so many other valid concerns that should be handled with care and understanding rather than shaming a person for not leaving or why didn't you leave sooner? You know, a lot of us have heard those types of things. And I've put that pressure even on myself, and it can manifest as shame for still being around in very complex, harmful, self-harmful ways. I've lived through it, and I know a lot of you have, because leaving can actually increase a person's chances of facing even worse violence or losing their lives. Quote, the statistics outline the reality that the most dangerous time for a survivor/victim is when they leave the abusive partners. 77% of DV-related homicides occur upon separation, and there is a 75% increase of violence upon separation for at least 2 years. These valid concerns must be addressed with safety planning. The American Public Health Forum published a study that found, quote, having been separated from an abusive partner after living together was associated with a higher risk of femicide, that's the ending of women's lives. And these statistics don't just apply to women. So there's a higher risk of the partner losing their life, as was having ever left or having asked the partner to leave. Having a child living in the home who was not the abusive partner's biological child more than doubled the risk. And when you think about the fact that, quote, data from US crime reports suggests that about 1 in 5 homicide victims are killed by an intimate partner, the report also found that over half of female victims lose their lives by a current or former male intimate partner. When you take that in consideration, it starts to become clear that leaving a harmful partner is not a simple decision to make. It sometimes requires careful planning and execution, and far too many victims do not feel they have those resources. And I'm not talking about this to scare any of you who might be trapped in an abusive situation. I am very much wanting you to find resources and support so that you can safely get out. I just don't want people to, I don't want to see us continue to like propel this idea that it's, you know, we should just pressure someone to get out without assessing how to do that safely, and to also not cause shame upon them. In Sherry Hamby's Oxford University published book titled Battered Women's Protective Strategies Stronger Than You Know, she describes how the safest exit strategies typically unfold. Quote, women start the process of safely planning before coming into contact with an advocate, often with their first response to abuser-generated and life-generated risks. Abuser-generated risks include dangers other than physical V, including the effects of staying in or leaving their relationships. Life-generating risks are aspects of abused persons' lives over which they may have limited control, such as financial stress, discrimination, and overall health. Using a strengths-based approach, safety planning must involve understanding the victim's perspective about their situation, including their assessments of risks, past and current safety plans, and building a partnership with them to strengthen their safety plans. Now, I know some of this information can feel scary. Trust me, I completely understand, more than I can say, especially if you or someone you know are in a harmful relationship. So I just want you to know that you do not have to go through this alone. You are valid in your feelings, whatever they might be. You're not deserving of what's happening to you. You are worthy of living a safe life. And there are free resources and people standing by to help you navigate whatever questions you might have and how to start forming a plan to safely get out only when you're ready. If you do have access to the web, if you're watching or listening to this, please look up safety resources like thehotline.org, bwss.org, or safehorizon.org, or reach out to a friend you trust, a teacher, a pastor, a doctor. There is a way out, and I hope you find healing. Okay, I know that was heavy, but y'all know I'm gonna take a moment. If there's a big kind of trending topic going on, I'm gonna take a moment to try to just slip in a little stuff that can hopefully help people in this life. So thanks for letting me have that sidebar. So let's shake it out now. Let's limber back up because we got a lot more netting all over the place, and I still have some more thoughts.
And I did want to tell you, and there was probably a small part of me that was sort of relieved to not be keeping a secret, I guess. Is that hard for you to hear?
Wild question for him to ask. Is that hard for you to hear? When he says, so this is him picking up from him saying, a small part of me just wanted to let you know, to tell you so that you carry the burden. Is that hard for you to hear? Is such a wild thing for him to say. And again, there's parts of me that just is like, it gives that feeling of like the guy who really hurts his wife and then gets to like also kind of engage in a little bit of publicly like humiliating her further by asking questions like, how did that make you feel? Did that hurt you when I did that to you? You know what I mean? Like he's kind of reliving what he did to her. It makes me very uncomfortable. It's tough to watch.
No, that part's not hard for me to hear. A lot. I've spoken a lot with other betrayed partners over the last 3 years, and it's something that I've heard a lot. There's this sense of relief when the partner who's doing the betraying is able to finally tell the betrayed partner that about all the things that they have been doing. And kind of put their shame onto the other partner.
That part. Exactly that part. That's what we talked about a moment ago. The person doing the harm transfers their shame onto the one who's being victimized by it. It is so unfair. And then that's what creates this world where Ariel, where probably those of you who've experienced this, feel like I'm fucked in the head. Why am I responding this way? Why aren't I bouncing back? Why don't I forgive? The why isn't on you, it's on the person who did the harming. Still hasn't apologized. He still hasn't apologized, by the way.
In that like sort of release of all of that
shame and guilt.
And guilt that they've been holding.
I hate that he's finishing her sentences for her.
It's almost like they feel so much relief, but the partner then has to accept it. And that's exactly what happened.
Everything she's saying is so spot on. Good for her. Flowers to Ariel in the comments, please. Everyone, just give her the most supportive comments you can possibly come up with.
You know, when you told me, suddenly then, I had to take all of that guilt and shame of your affair. And it was so much to carry. And like the wild thing is that this was something that you had done. You know, like I had no part in this. This was not... Like, you could even say that you had done this to me.
Yes.
You know? Like, I was the victim of this situation.
Now would be a great time for Ned to apologize. Just want to throw that out there.
When you told me, I had to, like, accept your guilt and your shame. And in our, like, society where couples are, especially married couples, when men have affairs, women are often looked at as, like, well, what did you do wrong?
That part. What did you do wrong? In heterosexual couples, did you not cook enough for him? Did you not keep the house clean enough? Did you not raise the children? Were you not supportive enough of his goals? Did you not have enough intimacy with him? Did you not provide your body to him enough times? Did you not look pretty enough? Did you not wear makeup enough times? Did you not buy that little dress? So often it is put on the women when it's literally just these fucking guys.
And it is so hard to get out from under that. Of like, well, what did you do to make him look elsewhere?
Nothing. He cannot even comprehend this. That's the thing, because what she's talking about is very intrinsically, not always, it's not exclusive to, but it's very intrinsically put upon women. We talked about this earlier. You can hear, you can listen if he's listening, but you can never know that actual feeling.
And I'm so tired of holding that. I'm so tired of holding it.
But she's gonna ask him an important question here.
How does it make you feel to hear that?
How does it make you feel? I know it was fast. How does it make you feel to hear that?
I mean, did it ever occur to you that not only did you having an affair, just it shattered our marriage, all of that guilt and shame, you like hoisted that on me.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about them much, but there's kids involved here. You already know. I don't even have to say it. Y'all, women in the chat, you already know that she had to present herself as put together and as strong as she possibly could in front of those kids. You know that she felt that pressure to do that. She doesn't have to do that, but society, everything is going to make her feel like she's got to deliver that for the well-being of her kids, which is so up. She should never have had to experience that. Likely, we'll just talk about in these scenarios, oftentimes the man, the husband, will then stay in a hotel or with a friend or whatever. He's not in the house, and she will be there with the kids. So now she's got to suddenly deal with this massive betrayal from her husband of cheating on her. So on top of that shock, she now has the shock of being a single parent. That's a trauma all on its own.
And now I have to carry that around for the rest of my life.
The rest of her life. So now she is a single mother, you know, and society already on single mothers as far as finding new relationships. It's classically more difficult for them than it is for the single father. I don't know how old she is. I don't give a fuck how old she is. Her age doesn't matter to any of the story whatsoever. And I am so tired of people shaming women for their age. I am so tired of it. She has to carry this for the rest of her life.
And now I have to carry that around for the rest of my life.
I don't think it's fair that as a society you're put in that position. It's certainly not true.
You put her in that position.
And no, it's not something that I imagined as I was doing that. I think none of it was.
That as I was doing that, as I was literally unzipping, we know what he was thinking about. Now would be a good time to apologize.
If you really let it sink in just how much you're hurting your partner and how devastating it is, how could you do that?
He's third personing himself. I hate it. How could you do that? How could you, Ned, say, how could I do that to you? It's that simple. It's really, sorry, I'm getting a little heated.
I feel like I'm in a really good place now. And going back to before I discovered the affair, it feels like going back to this weird fantasy world. I don't know, I thought we had this love that transcended. I don't know.
That's so sad.
That she fantasy.
She truly believed in their love.
You know, I trusted you so completely.
That's just so sad. I'm not the type of person to be able to trust from being a survivor at a very young age. I'm a very skeptical person, and I always will be. And I hate that. That wasn't how I was supposed to be. You know, I am the product of my experiences. And I hate seeing someone who is capable of being so fully trusting of someone, because I don't know what that feels like. And so I love to see it in other people, because it just looks so lovely for them to see her just be so betrayed and to probably never fully be able to completely trust again. I hope she can, but there's a chance that she doesn't. It's heartbreaking. Touching on the shame that Ariel talked about being placed on her, in Psychology Today, licensed professional counselor Michelle Mays explains how shame and guilt are similar but different emotional experiences. Quote, guilt is necessary for facilitating healthy behavior and repair, amends, and healing in relationships. Shame destroys relationships by creating relational walls and power imbalances. When people are being shameless, they are not in touch with the healthy guilt that would make them stop, consider their behavior, and perhaps choose a different course. As a result, shame attaches to the victim of the behavior as toxic carried shame. And in this next section, Ariel describes the kind of cinematic love story that served as the foundation of their marriage, while Ned sits there passively rationalizing how his dream broke apart over time.
I mean, we grew up together. We got married when we were in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We were babies. We moved out to LA with just our car full of stuff. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. We were just kids. And it's I just think, how could you do that to me?
Then that's the first time I think that she directly says, how could you do that to me?
Who are you?
He says nothing. Is he letting her speak? Maybe. But also, he says nothing.
I'm so sorry.
Like, we had so much. There was so much.
He finally apologized there, and it took her crying. It literally took her shedding tears and saying, "How could you?" And then he finally gives this very wimpy, very whispery, "I'm so sorry." He finally says, "I'm sorry" on camera.
We had so much life left. We still have so much life left. I don't know why I'm crying.
Girl cried out.
I think it's like the loss of that dream that we both had. I'm deeply, deeply sorry. And I'll spend my whole rest of my life trying to make amends to you and to, show up differently, to lead a life of integrity and to be a father that our children can learn from.
She gave him a little smile when he said he was so deeply sorry. And I think her little smile, it could have been her easing the tension a little bit for him. I think that they've probably talked a lot of this through, and whether or not she believes his apology is for her, she can share that or not. I think I'm gonna leave that there without comment.
Completely, suddenly, violently shattered our marriage, our relationship, and like everything you knew. And that was all my fault. It was all choices that I made.
All very important things, I think, for him to finally say. This is by far the heaviest part of the podcast, and I'm just kind of picking and choosing some of these segments. If you want to catch the fullness of it, obviously go watch it on Ned's channel. But I think it's important to acknowledge that while for us, the audience, the controversy is in a way sort of picking up fresh where it left off. For Ariel, this healing journey has been 3 years in progress, and we can see that this pain is still quite real for her, and the grief will, as she's even indicated, likely last maybe for the rest of her life. And while I still don't love that Ned is heavily benefiting from being the one to interview her and cushion his redemption arc by, as he calls it, the honor of witnessing her pain, Ariel continues to show that she is an incredibly strong person, even though she doesn't have to be. Okay, they're gonna start talking about what's next for them. So we're gonna kind of speed run through this. I'll just grab some little select moments and we'll keep it moving.
So where do we go from here?
I mean, that's kind of how we've been, what we've been working on, I guess, over the last 3 years.
I do appreciate that Ariel listened to what he said, and she didn't say, "I forgive you." Because again, she already said that she doesn't. It's okay. I know a lot of us, someone apologizes to us, then we're like, "It's okay, I forgive you." It's kind of a reflex reaction for us. You don't have to if you're not ready to.
When did things start to feel a little more safe for you?
I think as I just got more comfortable talking to people about what happened, and they just seemed to not care.
Yeah. Anyone in real life, and it's like everyone has some way to relate to some sort of a cheating story.
Just like all the parents at Wes's school, or, they're like, either they don't know or they don't give a flying They're like, yeah.
I love that for her.
Who cares? They're like, it's one of many scandals. Like, also, it was 3 years ago. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how we feel. They're like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
Yes, you are.
I can go on dates and not have people be whispering about me. Where maybe we are at a restaurant with our kids, and I don't have to feel shame because I'm like, having fun.
Right.
Where people are like, "Oh my God, are they back together?"
Right.
Just because I'm like having a joyful time with my kids and my ex-husband.
She called him her ex-husband there, and the rest of it's their business. I am a different woman than I was 5 minutes ago, okay?
And whether you are together or not, or sort of together friendly, but not romantic, like however you want to live your life as your family moving forward, that's like your business.
It's true. It is their business.
And at the same time, people looking on the outside can kind of feel that nonchalance. And on the inside, it's like, what I did to you is one of the most devastating things I think that a person can experience.
I'm never getting over the fact that they are wearing the most matching coordinated outfits of all time. I don't know if that was by accident, but I'm never getting over it. I mean, I am. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just so fascinating to me.
And it can be both at the same time. It can be both at different times. I have some days when I hate your guts. And, and there are other days when I I enjoy your company more than not.
And that is the process of healing. Healing is not linear, and it can look one way one day and a completely different way the next, and it can flip-flop, go over the place, all over the place, and that's okay.
And that's okay. It can be both.
It can be both.
As she just said.
You know, some days are really sad because I feel the loss. Other days, our kids are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
And I mean, they're worth every cent we've spent on therapy.
It's very strange living and having a marriage while also having that be so like public facing. Did you ever feel that there was these like layers of like the public facing you versus the real you?
That was always a struggle for me because I felt like I wanted the two to be the same. I always wanted to be one whole person, and I didn't want to be like an actor on camera and then another person in my real life. You know, and that's the funny thing about like being a YouTuber or being an influencer. People expect you to be one person.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. It is very true. Like I said earlier, but there is an element, especially as you like get, you know, more people watching and following and stuff, and you have safety concerns. And so for me, that was something that I had very early on, safety concerns and just literally anything. And I was warned about stuff before I ever started making content. I was warned from the beginning. And I think it's because, you know, I came from the entertainment industry. I came from the music industry. And that was something that was ingrained in me immediately, that you need to separate the personal you to keep yourself safe. And so I think it's harder for creators, influencers who don't have any type of separation whatsoever, especially when they put their relationships. But Ned Fulmer did the wife guy thing, and it was part of the brand, and they were like, well, this is working really well. It's getting the clicks and the likes and the views. And she gets pulled into this, and it sounds like she didn't ever really want to, but that is the nature of everything. We see Chappell Roan talk about this, like, look, this is the project. Chappell Roan is a project. And then I have my personal private life. Chappell Roan's very much like, don't approach me on the streets. I am living my life as a human being here, and then I put on Chappell Roan, and I do the Chappell Roan hair, I put on the Chappell Roan makeup, and that is a separate thing. And I think that is healthy for most people to have that type of separation. And that also keeps the parasocial relationships at bay, which is also healthy for the fans, the viewers, whatever. It's important to have, I think, boundaries. And I wish that Ariel had been given the opportunity to have those types of boundaries as well.
In your real life and on the internet. And then when you're not, then it's like, well, you're lying, you know? But I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, well, it's ironic.
And that's not true. It's absolutely not true. The Chappell Roan is a great example. Chappell Roan is not a liar because she has her private, personal life. Her personal, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna look into it because it doesn't matter. That is her private, personal life. She's allowed to have her boundaries. She's not a liar if she's not, you know, going to a restaurant acting like Chappell Roan in the restaurant. That doesn't make her a liar. That makes her a human being.
And I guess I noticed that in my own work. It's like the things that consistently drew people in were adorable family posts or talking about my wife. And then producers lean into that and like craft situations for me. And I don't know, over time, it felt super pigeonholed and just like I had to fulfill this one like quadrant in a foursome. It's very hard to like be a full person with nuance on the internet. There's always sort of a performance layer.
So what are you gonna do now that you're back on the internet?
It's a great question. I, for a long time, didn't want to return to the internet. And as time has moved on, I have a desire to create and to tell stories, but I don't really want it to be about myself as a character or myself or my relationship or my personal life. You know, I've always been drawn to things that make people curious and
making people curious. Remember what I said forever ago? That is the marketing brand, right? And listen, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna launch a podcast and launch a new product and have your comeback, he's allowed that second chance as a human being, right? We don't condemn people all the way into the oblivion. Some people we do. Okay, Andrew Tate is on the list. That's never gonna happen, but you know, a girl can dream. But he is delivering the talking points. He's delivering the talking points, and then she's going to deliver some talking points. I hope she takes them for half. Okay, girl, collect the coin from the podcast.
I don't know, I see myself more as like a host and more as just a vehicle for other people's stories. In my past, like connect with people and empathize with people. What?
don't know. I'm just. You think you're interesting enough?
No, I don't.
You think other people?
I think other people would be interesting, and then that's.
I love that she's like, do you think you're interesting enough? Because no.
Regardless of whether I think I'm interesting, I don't want to talk about my personal life or my family. Like I want to keep our children out of the spotlight. I keep our dating lives private. Like it's not a good idea for my mental health at least, but I think also in general, to sort of make your whole life your brand.
Boundaries are good for them. Boundaries are good for the audience. It's good for everybody.
Because if there's one thing I noticed is that people really seem to care about the train wreck that I caused.
Would you say that was your rock bottom? Have you hit your rock bottom? Or do you think?
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, I would say my rock bottom was...
I wonder if she was asked to ask him. I wonder if he said, okay, at some point towards the end of it, ask me if I've hit rock bottom. Get that talking point in there. Get the podcast name in there.
My rock bottom was, being in a... I think the moment for me is you like sent me a text that night that was like, I don't think we can get past this. And it's just sort of like my whole world crashed. I was like, oh. Like what I did was unforgivable and there's no hope. And I don't think I slept that night. Are we together?
We are not together. We live separately. We are devoted co-parents to our two beautiful, beautiful children.
So again, remember, what he did left her now to be a single mom.
Are we dating other people?
I mean, I'm open to dating other people. I mean, yes, we are dating other people. Yeah.
He didn't answer that question. He asked, are we dating other people? She answers it. He didn't answer it.
So what's next for you? I know that, you're a creative person, that you've been doing a bunch throughout your career, and it's kind of like, it must be exciting to kind of be like a solo artist now.
Yeah. I mean, these last 3 years have given me a lot of time to like kind of express what I love. And I've gone back to pottery, which is something that
good for her.
I was really into in college.
We love a creative outlet. I'm going to finish this part of the doc out with just her sharing a little bit of what she's going to do next. And literally whatever she does, if you come across it, support it.
I've been spending a lot of time in my own studio, and I'm starting up my own business. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. And we'll see where it takes me.
We're here to support it. We love that for her.
I feel like sometimes, and we don't have to put this part in, but it is a valid reason. I feel like sometimes people who are on the internet, there is another standard of beauty for people who are on the internet.
Yes.
And I don't want to hold myself to that standard anymore.
Good for her. There is another standard for people who are on the internet. For women in particular, you're too thick, you're too thin, you're too this size, you're too not enough this size. Your teeth don't look this way. Your teeth look too much this way. Your skin is too much this. Your skin is not enough this. Your makeup is this. Your makeup is not this. Your wardrobe is this. Your wardrobe's not this. You got a wrinkle. Did you get work done? Did you not get work done? I love your work. I hate your work. There's so many dynamics that are just put upon public figures, in particular women, that are so fucking insane. No one holds their friends and family to those standards in private. People, behind the keyboards who are shaming women for the way they look. The standards that some people can hold women in the public eye, the standards that they can hold them to, they would never hold themselves to those standards. Never. But for some reason, they feel like they can just do that to women and to people online, period. Again, boundaries. Boundaries are so important.
And I don't want to hold myself to that standard anymore. I'm going to be 40 this year, and I want to look at myself in the mirror, and I want to say, fuck yeah. I don't want to look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh my God, are people going to notice that I don't look like I'm 30 anymore? Are people...
This is what I'm talking about. This is why for like a very long time, I did like a whole rant in the Katy Perry thing. And a lot of y'all were like, oh, could you clip that out and put it on social media? I'll put it up somewhere. It was this rant about I am so fucking tired of watching women being shamed for getting older. And this is a thing that has been in the entertainment industry since the literal dawn of time. Women have been made to feel like we expire after we reach whatever magical age the Hollywood or the public has decided women are no longer valid. How dare women survive this life? And they're not even public figures. Women are shamed who literally like work at the bank. They don't do this to men. And it's often coming from other women that they're shaming women. That's the thing. When I look at a woman, I will never think How dare you stay alive? How dare you manage to navigate this life and survive everything that you have survived to continue to be here? Ariel is worried about feeling like shit, so much so, she said this is one of the number 2 reasons why she doesn't, for right now, want to do stuff in the public eye, because she doesn't want to be held to an impossible beauty standard. How fucking sad is that? How dare she survive? She has so much to offer this world, so much to give this world, if she chooses to. If you see someone shaming a woman for their age, call them the fuck out. That's how I feel about it.
People are gonna think that I look old. Are people gonna think that that this is bad, or this is bad, or this is bad? I love looking in the mirror and being like, you know what? I look great. Like good enough. It's good enough.
It's a refreshing place to be.
It's so great. It's so great to be like, I look awesome.
Yeah.
I don't want to look in the mirror and be like, I don't look good enough. I don't love that place. And I think that being a public person, that you sort of have to look at yourself that way, or at least that was my experience, and I choose not to do that.
That's awesome. Like, what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
I just generally want to be the person that I genuinely believe that I am, and
what do you hope for the two of us?
I just want each of us to grow in the way that makes each of us happy, and I want for you to feel like you can be who you are, and I want the same for myself.
That's what I hope for us, is to have a parenting partnership based on laughter, in respect, and in honesty.
Me too.
And I hope that for them as well. And Ned closes it out, the sales pitch for the rest of the podcast, essentially.
Thank you again to Ariel. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, your directness. This truly meant a lot to me, and thank you for watching.
I wish the best for Ariel, for sure. Ned, you guys can decide if you're gonna watch his podcast in the future or not. I personally don't really have any interest, but I don't wish, anything bad for him. They have children together, and people do deserve second chances. She seems to be willing to, obviously, she's given him one, not in the realm of a romantic relationship, but they're co-parenting, so here's his pitch.
Next week, I'm excited to not be the subject of the episode. I'll be having a conversation with Lara Love Hardin. She is a mother who overcame a battle with heroin addiction, and eventually was a Oprah book club bestseller, and you're not gonna wanna miss it. So see you next week, and take care.
Oh, and then we've got a snappy little song. We got a snappy song, and the photo shopping shit, and the sales pitch, and now we're on to product. Good for Ned, but more so, most importantly, good for Ariel, and I hope this was healing for her. Well, that was the long-anticipated return of Try Guy Ned, and it certainly felt like a rock-bottom moment for the internet's most dragged husband of all time, even more than Matt and Abby husband Matt, okay? I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard watch at times seeing Ariel's emotional journey on camera. It was also an encouraging watch seeing her smile. I think she's incredibly brave. I have zero judgments whatsoever for her doing this. If it's right for her, then I hope that brings her the healing that she was looking for. But I will say this, fortunately, it sounds like we can support Ariel by engaging with her new venture into pottery. I will link that in the description since Ned, for some reason, couldn't be bothered to. You can check out Ariel Fulmer Ceramics for all your small batch ceramic home goods made with care. I mean, look at that queen strutting into her new era, okay? We love to see her smiling and hope that she is thriving and finds the healing that she deserves. As for the rest of the Try Guys, quick little rundown. When Ned was ousted from the Try Guys in 2022, the group had already spent 8 years making videos together, so when it came down to just 3, Keith, Zach, and wonderful, fabulous Eugene, I imagine they all kind of started looking around at each other and just being like, well, I mean, we've been doing this a while, what now? For a while, they continued on with their irregular content as a trio, but eventually the other shoe dropped when in 2024, Eugene Lee Yang decided to call it quits. E! News reported, quote, YouTubers Keith and Zach shared Eugene is the next star to part ways with the group following their upcoming season. Part of this is bittersweet. We're going to miss working with Eugene. He's been one of the true collaborators of both our lives, but we've had a long time to process this. So we're very excited for him, very excited for us, and just feeling very energized by this whole moment. Indeed, there's no bad blood between the trio, but rather it's time for the actor to begin a new chapter in his career. And the two guys left, Keith and Zach, used this opportunity to launch an entire streaming service, kind of like a Netflix, but solely for Try Guys content, citing the algorithm was suppressing their content. Quote, "We have seen both the joys and the limits of algorithmic media making. We've obviously benefited from it greatly ourselves, but we're at a point where we find that our taste and our audience's taste is at odds with what algorithms, specifically the YouTube algorithm, rewards. And now that the Try Guys feel like a kind of a hydra out of Greek mythology after losing 2 members, they've multiplied, growing a whole new roster of on-camera personalities experimenting with all kinds of content, so good for them. And as for Ned, well, his episode with Ariel got nearly 900,000 views and counting, and he just released the 2nd episode of his podcast, and well, I think the view count on that episode tells a story all on its own. Only time will tell if people choose to support him in the future. Child, that was a lot to unpack. I think we need a bit of a kitty palette cleanser. Excuse the tone shift, and then I will conclude with my final thoughts. Our babies, just the cutest things. I love them so much. Thank you, first of all, for letting me do this kind of a little bit of a different format. We do a lot more of this kind of react style stuff on the 2nd channel. So with that, I do have a 2nd channel called Swoop 2. Over here, we deep dive. Over there, we dip. They're skinny dips into the unhinged dark waters of the cesspool. We have a giggle or a gasp sometimes. It's much more casual. The videos are shorter, so welcome to the chaos. A huge thank you to our channel members. I appreciate all of you so much. I hope you're loving the stickers. And to our Patreon producers, big thank you. You can join our Patreon community for exclusive access to 4 more videos per month. I know, I'm out of my mind. That's 4 more exclusive, uncensored, unfiltered videos per month. We've got the exclusive Patreon only podcast, plus the entire back catalog of Patreon videos only available on Patreon, including the podcast, extended episodes, and videos I just cannot post here. As a reminder, also you can grab your pieces from the Valid Ribcage collection by tapping the link below. It's in the pinned comment. We also have the Unbroken collection. Both those collections are very near and dear to my heart. I designed these pieces for anyone who is looking for clothing with positive reminders that you are incredible, beautiful, and valid, no matter what you look like, what you've lived through, if you're living with chronic illness like myself, or what you want to do with your life, you are valid. And please keep tagging me with your outfit photos on Instagram. I love reposting you when I catch those on my Instagram stories. You can also follow me, of course, on Instagram, Twitter, and Bluesky. All of that's linked below. I post most often on Instagram. I have polls, I'll check it on live, and do all of that good stuff. Also, dear friends, it's time to be kind to yourself this year and take control of your doctor appointments. Be sure to tap my link below or go to ZocDoc.com/swoop to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. Take care of yourself because you deserve it, honey. So I have a question for those of you who feel comfortable to share. Have you ever been cheated on? Or on the flip side, have you ever cheated on someone? I mean, no judgments in the comments. Okay, we're here to have respectful conversation. This is an open conversation. I'm just curious, like, were you able to work through it? And did you stay together? But did you want to stay together, but things eventually broke apart? Were you just like, absolutely not, I'm out? I'd also love to hear, what is your biggest takeaway from being cheated on or doing the cheating? Like, what advice would you give to someone who was cheated on now that you've had your own experience? I'm so curious about this conversation, which I guess Ned would be proud of, given that he wants us to all be curious, and also good for him. But you know, at the end of the day, we all essentially have one go at this thing called life. And with that go comes challenges, pain, joy, hope, and sometimes betrayal. And we all handle those experiences differently. Some people will stay with their partner, and if that's the healthy decision for them, then that's the right one for them. And some will leave and hopefully have support in the process. At the end of the day, with stories that center around questions of forgiveness, closure, moving on, second chances, or doing none of the above, one thing is certain: most everything in life is uncertain. Hold the ones you love close, value their joy along with your own, allow them their pain without shame, and know that at the end of the day, you too deserve healing. And you know, when all else fails, stay ready, stay petty, class dismissed. Swoop!